Tonight on Coyote News, CAB has received grief about their concert announcements, but what does it take to book an artist? And with only a month of school left, what's required of seniors hoping to get their diploma?
And the weather is still occasionally chilly, but Vermilion residents are already plotting a community garden. And reporter Kelly Stewart talks about all the mayhem involved in March Madness.
Plus, USD Club Baseball is underway, and although the women's basketball team failed to reach the WBI Finals, their season was one for the record books. Those stories are coming up, but first, the headlines.
It's official. A longtime Late Show host is finally calling it quits. Jay Leno, the well-known host of The Tonight Show, will end his run in the spring of next year. Leno hosted The Tonight Show from 1992 to 2009, and after a brief hiatus from 2010 to now. The 62-year-old is known for his Las Vegas-style comedy. Jimmy Fallon will be replacing him. A Sioux Falls woman will remain in jail on high bond. Rhiannon White was charged with drug possession and neglect of a child after a December fire at her home killed her 3 children. White missed her court date on Thursday, but was arrested in Iowa later that day. Her bail is set at $30,000 and her trial will take place in May. Authorities have been searching for 2 California hikers for the past 3 nights. Kendall Jack and Nicholas Sindoya of Costa Mesa, California, went out for a hike at an Orange County canyon. They realized that they were lost and called the police for help. Before police could locate them, their cell phone died. Authorities say that mild weather and the hikers' young age works in their favor. And those are your headlines.
USD students are putting the final touches on their IdeaFest presentations that begin April 10th in the Muck. The annual event celebrates student research, creative scholarship, and academic engagement. Over 500 students sent in abstracts to participate in IdeaFest, up from less than 300 entries last year. The first keynote speaker is Captain Mark Kelly, astronaut and spouse of Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords, who survived a gunshot wound to the head in 2011. Coyote News will be at the event with live coverage from the Muck next Wednesday. The Campus Activities Board recently announced that country singer Jared Neiman will be the next concert for the spring semester. But getting Neiman and other artists to come to campus isn't as easy as it may sound. CAB works through entertainment companies to select up-and-coming artists that fit within university policy. Concert chair Kaitlyn Janak says the artist must also fit within their budget, among other things.
An artist that a lot of students are going to like, something that maybe we haven't brought to campus before. 17.
Students have criticized CAB for announcing who the artists are too close to the concert. Janak says revealing the artist is a difficult and lengthy process.
We need to make sure basically that everything is in sync and everybody knows what's going on so that there's no miscommunication and that we don't get basically like screwed over in the end.
Tickets for the Jared Neiman concert are on sale now. The show is April 24th at Alf's Auditorium.
We all use social media, some more than others. I like getting updates on what my friends are doing, like, that's cool, you got a dog. Or, whoa, you're in Europe? That's like so crazy. No way. But I don't want to see your awkward naked baby bump photos or a picture of your baby every day. Trust me, he still looks the same. I also don't want to read status updates about your pregnancy cravings or how many weeks are left until the end of your trimester. It also kills me when people have an ultrasound photo as their cover photo. It makes me not want to eat anything of Jell-O-like consistency. How about those people on your Twitter feed that tweet about their bathroom escapades? Some people share way too much on social media. Let's take Louisville's Kevin Ware and his gruesome injury in the game against Duke. Many of us were exposed to the actual event live. Some were sent the link to the YouTube video. And then there are some of my Facebook friends that posted the actual photo of the bone sticking through his leg. There is such a thing as too much information, and a lot of my social media friends have hit that point. For Coyote Blog, I'm Angelica Brackens.
A new online tool indicates that STSU might be outdoing USD in terms of costs and graduation rates, but university officials say it's misleading. The release of the college scorecard from the Department of Education is meant for students to compare colleges across the country. USD Provost Chuck Staben says there's room for improvement.
University of South Dakota does well by its students, but it could actually, I think, do better.
The scorecard includes a lot of criteria, and Staben says it's arguable which areas are more valuable.
And there's a lot of debate about this, but if you use certain measures of predicting what college graduation rate you should have, we have a lower rate than you might predict that we would have by a number of different measures.
Staben says he's disappointed with the graduation percentage, but with continued mentorship, he says USD should see an increase in percentages in the near future.
As the spring temperatures increase, student productivity tends to decrease. But for students graduating this semester, there are still some things they must accomplish before receiving their diploma. The art department is one of many with specific senior requirements.
Beyond the required classes, there's also the graduation exhibitions that students have to partake in.
The Contemporary Media and Journalism department requires a senior portfolio, and a senior recital is required in the music department. Art students are required to present a final showcase.
The majority of the work is focused on my senior show, because that's kind of like the pinnacle of your undergraduate.
The senior art exhibitions will be held later this month at USD Art Galleries.
As spring returns to South Dakota, one group celebrates its coming with an outdoor activity, gardening. It might not look like much now, but in the coming months, the Vermilion Community Garden will spring to life at the open space. The garden is located at 202 Washington Street behind the Vermilion Area Arts Council building. It provides gardening opportunities for Vermilion area members, sustainability, and community engagement. It's an open space for all members to enjoy and use. If you're interested in buying a plot, the first spring meeting will take place at the garden at 6 o'clock next Thursday. The ID Week's library is filled with art this semester from the Making Artwork exhibition. The exhibition held March 2nd showcased 5 artists creating works of art over a 7-hour period. Taylor Barstow was the curator of the exhibit.
I've been focusing on the conversation between the art community and the community that the artists live in, and that there seems to be a disconnect. And I wish that there was more of a positive relationship between Vermilion and artists.
Danielle Loftus helped organize the exhibition.
We just wanted to have a little project where we had people get together and talk about art and show art and the process of making art. And then we wanted to put that exhibit up together for the rest of the semester so people could see what the people did.
One of the showcase artists was Michelle Meckling.
Yes, I made a piece that focuses on the chakra meditations of the body.
Reactions were very positive.
We were really excited about it, and again, it's really important to engage the community, so we definitely will try to do it again in the future.
The Making Artwork exhibition will be on display in the second floor of the library until April 26th.
Pi Kappa Alpha continues its Philanthropy Week with their Pikes in the Park event tomorrow night. Coyote News' Courtney Sterrett is live in the muck with AJ Meyer for more information on the fraternity's fundraising events. Courtney?
Thanks, Cassie. And thanks, AJ, for being with us today. Can you tell us what events are being hosted at the park?
At Pikes in the Park, we're going to have a meal, which is going to be a $5 walking taco meal. And then we're going to have yard games and music. And then it's just kind of a time to come hang out and meet the guys at the park. So,
what is the money going towards?
This year, the money is going towards leukemia and lymphoma research.
I've noticed outside the muck that there are boxes with Pike's name on them and that some of the Pike members are staying in those boxes. Can you tell us what that's all about?
Yeah, that is our annual Change for Change event, which is where we're just out showing our support for the domestic violence shelter and collecting change while we're living in the boxes outside the muck. And all the money that is raised from that will go to the Vermilion Domestic Violence Shelter.
Now, do you guys do that event annually?
This is actually the second year that we've done the event, and we look to continue to do it in the coming years. So, yeah.
All right. Thank you, AJ. That was AJ Meyer, Philanthropy Chair of Pike. And Pikes in the Park starts tomorrow at 5 p.m. to 7 for $5 for a walking taco meal. And I'm Courtney Sterrett, live in the muck.
Thanks, Courtney. It's April, but the madness of March still continues. Kelly Stewart tells us more about this mayhem on this week's Yote Report.
The March is over, the madness is still in the air. After all, the NCAA basketball tournament is still going on. Some brackets are doing okay, while others, like mine, are, well, busted. However, this so-called study of brackets, or bracketology, as it has come to be known, can actually earn some wise bracketeers some money. Even though students aren't dealing with the Vegas type of betting, there are still a handful of bracket pools out there for good amounts of money. This week on the Yote Report, I take a look at the business side of March Madness at USD. March Madness is yet again living up to its name in the basketball world. With number 1 seeds like Gonzaga losing in the second round, and Cinderella teams like Florida Gulf Coast University making history as the first 15th seed to make the Sweet 16, the madness is mayhem in 2013. However, the expect the unexpected turn of events with the NCAA tournament is what makes it fun, and even more fun if winning money is involved. I spoke with USD junior Scott Stoll about his potential earnings in various bracket pools with friends.
I just get into it, and I feel like the more bracket pools I can get into, the more chances I have at winning. So, I don't know, it's just been something I've been doing since high school. And the one that I'm doing that I'm hopefully going to win, I'm going to win about $150. It's all friendly. There's really no bad blood if somebody wins and somebody loses. It's just the luck of the draw.
Of course, the necessary food requirements and viewing environments are needed for the games.
Chips, steak, Jimmy John's subs, Subway subs, I don't know, fast food, nothing really healthy. You've got to have at least 3 TVs in the room if you want me to be there, because, I don't know, I just like going from looking TV to TV and not just having to worry about changing the channel and stuff, because there are so many close games at a time.
No matter how heated friends get over a few games of basketball, the NCAA tournament is always a fun time of year for friends to come together and enjoy watching college athletes perform at their best. For the Yote Report, I'm Kelly Stewart.
Thanks, Kelly.
Today on Coyote Sports, USD is now home to the top women's pole vaulter in the nation, and the women's softball team debuted at home yesterday.
Plus, we'll talk with Tempest Wilson about her senior year and her plans for the future, and commentator Nicole Griffith wonders if money is the only focus in sports. But first, the headlines. Kelly?
South Dakota State point guard Nate Wolters can now add All-American to his resume. Wolters was named a third-team All-American by the Associated Press, the first SDSU All-American since 1998. Wolters averaged over 22 points, 5.8 assists, and 5.6 rebounds this season. He's projected to be drafted in the second round of the NBA draft in June. Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban made a splash yesterday, telling reporters he would consider drafting Brittany Griner with his second-round pick in the NBA draft. Cuban says she wouldn't be a shoo-in and Griner would have to earn her spot on the team. Griner responded by tweeting, "I would hold my own. Let's do it." Texas Rangers pitcher Yu Darvish came within 1 out of perfection last night. Darvish retired the first 26 Houston Astros he faced, but the 27th out turned out to be the hardest. Marwin Gonzalez took the first pitch he saw right back up the middle for a clean single, just inches below Darvish's glove. Darvish was then pulled by manager Ron Washington and received a standing ovation from the Houston crowd. There have only been 23 perfect games thrown in Major League history. And those are your sports headlines.
The women's basketball team hosted McNeese State last week with a chance at a title game appearance on the line, but the Yotes fell short. The women started off strong, holding the lead for most of the game. Senior Alexis Yackley opened the game with a three-pointer, and Tempest Wilson followed suit on the next possession. They entered the half with a 36-28 lead. That lead was cut to just 2 with 8 minutes left, and then the Cowgirls scored 12 straight points and never looked back. McNeese State went on to win 71-63. Sophomore Nicole Seekamp led the Yotes with 20 points, and Wilson added 15 in her final game as a Coyote. The semifinal game was the furthest the Yotes have advanced in any Division I postseason tournament. McNeese State was defeated by Detroit in the WBI championship game on Saturday.
The end of the basketball season means the end of the road for seniors. Coyote News' Kathleen Suri is live in the muck with senior Tempest Wilson for a look back on her career as a Yote. Kathleen?
And thanks so much for being with us here today, Tempest. So, USD women's basketball had a really good season. Can you tell us how it felt to be a part of this really successful team?
I mean, it was just a great experience. I mean, not only did we get a new coach, but like new players, bringing a lot of new energy, intensity. I mean, overall, I mean, we had some ups and downs, but it was just a great season. I'm so proud of how far we've came.
What do you think the team's real major strengths were?
I would just say we're a very, very tough team. I mean, we don't have the height, and I know we're like fast and strong, but I mean, I would definitely say we're a really tough team, and we hold our own and don't let anyone get to us, and I mean, we just have fun.
How did the transition to D1 go with new head coach Amy Williams?
It went rather good. I mean, she's a great coach. I mean, I love her. She comes to practice with so much energy. Her intensity is great. I mean, we were all looking forward to her coming, and this so far season, it just has been great, and we've came so far and just had a great season.
Now, what was the highlight of your career as a Coyote athlete?
I would definitely have to say, I mean, just being able to have postseason play. I mean, not all seniors get that chance. I mean, we really didn't know if we were going to be able to be in the WNIT or the WBI, but I mean, it was great to come so far. I mean, it didn't go as we planned it, but we had fun and it was great.
So what are your plans for after graduation?
I mean, I'm still looking forward to keep playing this game. I mean, I love it. I don't ever want to give it up, so hopefully maybe overseas, so we'll see.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Tempest. That was Tempest Wilson with the USD women's basketball team, and live from the Muck, I'm Kathleen Surrey.
Thanks, Kathleen. Women's track and field pole vaulter Bethany Buell set a new career best record and USD outdoor record of 14 feet 7.5 inches while winning Section A of the women's pole vault at the Texas Relays. The mark is the best height in the nation so far this season. Buell became the first Coyote to win at the Texas Relays and broke her previous record of 14 feet 5.5 inches set last season.
The women's softball team split a doubleheader with UND yesterday. The Coyotes took the first game by a score of 4-3 thanks to a walk-off single by Katie Cochran. Pitcher Erica Denny set a season high with 9 strikeouts. She now has 25 strikeouts in her last 3 outings. In the second game of the twin bill, the Yotes squandered a 2-run lead in the 6th inning and fell 9-8. The Yotes are now 22-12 on the year, 5-1 in the Summit League. They'll host SDSU this weekend for 3 games.
It's been 9 years since USD announced it would be cutting baseball as a varsity sport for budget and legal reasons. Despite being the first designated sport on campus in 1889, the team was never able to gain a foothold. Wars, budget, and lack of interest have caused the team to fold 7 times. In spite of the constant uncertainty of the sport, the team still managed to succeed, including competing 6 of the first 7 seasons without a loss. The sport was last dropped in 2004. Next week, Coyote News will explore the reasons behind the sport's demise and whether the transition to Division I could open the door for a D1 team.
On this week's sports commentary, Nicole Griffith is fed up with athletes choosing money over loyalty.
Throughout the last century, there's been many unforgettable legends. Babe Ruth, Walter Payton, and Michael Jordan, just to name a few. But today's generation seems to have a different focus. Money. Why is money the primary motivator? What happened to playing with a team, staying with a team, and actually winning a championship with them? On opening day, I realized former Red Sox Kevin Youkilis was playing for the Yankees. He signed with the Evil Empire because they offered more money. 8-time Pro Bowler and team captain Brian Urlacher left the Chicago Bears since they didn't offer him enough money, and Greg Jennings of the Packers is now a Minnesota Viking. And the Cinderella story, Florida Gulf Coast University, is now without a head coach. Andy Einfield took a job at USC where he'll make over $1 million annually. That's a far cry from the measly $157,000 he was making down in Florida. I wonder what his team thinks. They just played their hearts out for this guy and make a name for themselves in front of a national audience, only for their coach to bask in the glory and peace out for more money. I know for a fact that Walter Payton wouldn't have signed with the Vikings after 13 years in Chicago. But then again, nobody thought Brett Favre would ever betray the Packers. For Coyote Sports, I'm Nicole Griffith.
Spring weather has a tendency to arrive a little late in South Dakota, but students are still excited for springtime activities.
On this week's commentary, Nina Larson already has a list of things to do that are ready-made for the warmer temperatures.
Springtime is coming here in Vermilion, and even though it will probably snow tomorrow, today I'm going to show you all the fun things you can do outside. Spring is the perfect time for picnics. Shoot! Oh. You can play disc golf. You can go fishing at the Vermilion River. Ooh, I got one. Or play in the park. Or teach a friend how to play catch. No. You step with the opposite foot. You don't know. That's awkward. You step with the opposite foot of the hand that's throwing the ball. Get it? Keep your eye on the ball. Eye on the ball. We'll work on it. Lower Verm has a nice walking bridge. But I wouldn't go alone. Or the classic favorite, swinging with a friend. Hopefully those can last you until summer. I'm gonna go climb a tree now.
CAB has announced its final concert of the spring semester.
So on this week's Out and About, we asked students what advice they have for selecting next year's concerts.
I haven't heard of any problems, so if I don't hear of any problems, I assume that they're just fine if I don't hear of anything being bad.
I think they've been really good. I went to the Travis Porter one, and I thought it was really fun.
I heard that Travis Porter wasn't as successful as the Mac Miller concert. I didn't go to the first one, but I'm going to Jared Neiman, and that'll be pretty good.
I just wish CAB would have the students ask them more what they want to see.
Probably the Decemberists.
I really like the idea of bringing in country artists. We are in the middle of South Dakota.
Mumford & Sons would be cool, but that's not going to happen. But,
Definitely John Mayer.
Any country artist.
Maybe a big name artist like Rihanna or Drake.
Kid Cudi.
Somebody not country and not rap.
He swears a lot. I do too as well.
Aaron Carter, he has a tour coming up. I want to see him.
But he's got quality.
Very true. Thanks.
A new issue of the Volant Hit newsstands today. Pick up a copy to read more about a report that shows USD grads earning the lowest starting salaries out of all flagship schools in the country. Plus, is USD ditching their USA Today subscription? Those stories and more can also be found online at volantonline.com. And the White House released a video Monday announcing a special message from the president. But the president who emerged could barely see over the lectern. The special message from 9-year-old Robbie Novak, better known as Kid President from his hit YouTube videos, proved that even the White House isn't above April Fool's Day. The video opened with the traditional tune, Hail to the Chief, but Novak appeared saying, "April Fools to all y'all," and signed off with a peace sign. Novak later helped introduce the first family at the annual White House Easter egg roll.
That's all for Coyote News. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Twitter.
Thanks for watching and have a great night. We'll be back next Wednesday.